How to fix Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 not launching or crashing on loading screen. Install older graphics driver. Welcome back to Technobalta. Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, while a breathtaking experience, can sometimes ground even the most eager virtual pilots with frustrating launch issues or crashes during the critical loading sequence. This often manifests as the game asking to start in safe mode before ultimately failing to proceed, leaving users staring at their desktop instead of the cockpit. Understanding the underlying causes, which range from software conflicts to corrupted game data, is crucial for effective troubleshooting. Our deep dive today focuses on comprehensive solutions, specifically highlighting a frequently overlooked yet critical culprit: graphics drivers. While the game's complexity demands a robust system, an incompatible or corrupted driver can create a significant bottleneck, especially for newer GPU architectures like the NVIDIA RTX 40 series. We will guide you through a systematic approach to resolve these persistent issues, ensuring your simulator takes flight seamlessly. How to fix Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 not launching or crashing. Install an older graphics driver, the primary solution. The most impactful solution often lies in rolling back your graphics driver to a stable, older version, particularly if you have a newer GPU like an NVIDIA RTX 4060. Many users report that the latest drivers can introduce unforeseen incompatibilities with MSFS 2020, leading to immediate crashes during startup or loading. This process requires precision to ensure no residual files corrupt the new installation. First, download Display Driver Uninstaller (DDU) and the older, stable driver version recommended for your specific GPU from the official NVIDIA or AMD archives. Boot your system into safe mode, then execute DDU to perform a thorough clean uninstall of all current graphics drivers and associated components. This meticulous removal prevents driver remnants from interfering with the subsequent installation. After the clean uninstallation, restart your computer into normal mode and proceed to install the previously downloaded older graphics driver. Opt for a custom installation and ensure that any unnecessary components, like GeForce Experience if you're not using it, are deselect to maintain a lean and stable driver setup. This step frequently resolves immediate launch failures and loading screen crashes. Verify game files' integrity. Corrupted or missing game files are a common source of launch failures, as MSFS 2020 cannot properly initialize if its core assets are compromised. For Microsoft Store versions, navigate to Apps and Features, locate Microsoft Flight Simulator, click Advanced Options, and then select Repair or Reset. Steam users should right-click on Microsoft Flight Simulator in their library, go to Properties, then Local Files, and click Verify Integrity of Game Files. This process scans your installation against the game's manifest, automatically downloading and replacing any discrepant or damaged files. Run Microsoft Flight Simulator as administrator. Insufficient administrative privileges can prevent the simulator from accessing critical system resources or writing necessary files, leading to launch failures. Locate the MSFS 2020 executable or its shortcut, right-click on it, and select Run as Administrator to elevate its permissions for that session. For a more permanent solution, right-click the executable, select Properties, navigate to the Compatibility tab, and check the Run this program as an administrator box. This ensures the game always launches with the necessary system access, potentially bypassing permission-related crashes. Disable third-party overlays. Overlays from applications such as Discord, NVIDIA GeForce Experience, Xbox Game Bar, or Steam can sometimes conflict with MSFS 2020, causing stability issues or preventing the game from launching entirely. These overlays inject code into the game process, which can lead to unexpected crashes. Temporarily disable all active overlays from their respective application settings before launching Microsoft Flight Simulator. Test the game's stability, and if it resolves the issue, you can re-enable them one by one to identify the specific conflicting application. Check minimum system requirements. While seemingly basic, ensuring your system meets or exceeds MSFS 2020's minimum system requirements is foundational for stable operation. Inadequate RAM, an unsupported CPU, or an insufficient GPU can lead to immediate crashes during initialization or heavy loading. Review your PC specifications against the official requirements published by Asobo Studio to confirm compatibility. If your hardware is borderline, performance issues or crashes are more likely, suggesting a potential upgrade path for a smoother experience. Update Windows to the latest version. Outdated Windows operating system builds can introduce compatibility issues with modern applications and games, including Microsoft Flight Simulator. Critical security patches, system libraries, and DirectX components are often delivered through Windows updates, which are essential for game stability. Navigate to Settings, Windows Update, and ensure your system is fully up to date. Install all pending updates and restart your computer as prompted to apply the changes, as this often resolves underlying system conflicts that affect game launches. Temporarily disable Antivirus/Firewall. Security software, while crucial for system protection, can sometimes misidentify game executables or network traffic as threats, leading to blocks or quarantined files that prevent MSFS 2020 from launching. This is particularly true for overly aggressive real-time protection features. Temporarily disable your antivirus software and Windows Firewall, then attempt to launch the game. If MSFS 2020 launches successfully, create an exception for its executable and installation directory within your security software to prevent future interference. Clear the rolling cache. Microsoft Flight Simulator utilizes a rolling cache to store frequently accessed scenery data, which can become corrupted over time and lead to loading screen crashes or in-game stuttering. Clearing this cache forces the game to rebuild it, often resolving data integrity issues. Launch MSFS if it gets that far, and navigate to Options, General Options Data. Locate the rolling cache setting and select Delete Rolling Cache, then confirm the action. Restart the simulator afterward for the changes to take effect. Delete Content.xml and UserCfg.opt files. These configuration files store critical game settings and potentially corrupted data, which can prevent the simulator from loading correctly. Deleting them forces MSFS 2020 to regenerate default versions upon the next launch, effectively resetting problematic settings. Navigate to C. /users /appdata /local /packages /Microsoft.FlightSimulator 8 wekib 3d8 we /local cache for Microsoft Store versions, or C. /users /appdata /roaming Microsoft Flight Simulator for Steam. Delete Content.xml and UserCfg.opt, make backups if desired, and then try launching the game. Check the community folder for conflicts. Third-party add-ons installed in the community folder are a frequent cause of instability, especially after game updates. An outdated or incompatible add-on can prevent MSFS from launching or crash it during the loading phase as it attempts to integrate the problematic content. Temporarily move all contents from your community folder to a different location on your drive. If the game launches successfully afterward, incrementally reintroduce your add-ons to identify the conflicting item, allowing you to remove or update it. Reset Microsoft Store cache. If you own MSFS 2020 via the Microsoft Store, a corrupted store cache can sometimes interfere with game downloads, updates, or even launch processes. Resetting this cache can resolve underlying communication issues between the store and your installed applications. Press Win+R, type reset.exe, and press Enter. A blank command prompt window will appear for a few moments, after which the Microsoft Store will launch automatically. This indicates the cache has been cleared, and you can then attempt to launch the simulator. Reinstall gaming services. Gaming services is a core component for Microsoft Store games, and its corruption can lead to launch failures for titles like MSFS 2020. A clean reinstallation often resolves deep-seated issues that other troubleshooting steps cannot address. Open PowerShell as an administrator and execute git apps package Microsoft.gaming services remove apps package, a losers. Adjust virtual memory, page file. Insufficient virtual memory or page file size can cause MSFS 2020 to crash, especially during memory-intensive loading sequences, even with ample physical RAM. Windows uses this as an overflow when physical memory runs low, and an inadequate setting can starve the game. Navigate to System Properties, Advanced tab, Performance section, Settings, Advanced tab, Virtual Memory section, Change. Uncheck Automatically Manage Paging File Size, set a custom size, e.g., 1.5x your RAM for initial and 3x for maximum, and restart your PC. Update DirectX and Visual C++ redistributables. Microsoft Flight Simulator relies heavily on specific versions of DirectX and Visual C++ redistributable packages for its rendering and core functionality. Outdated or missing runtime components can lead to immediate crashes as the game attempts to initialize graphical or system processes. Download and install the latest versions of DirectX End-User Runtime Web Installer and all available Microsoft Visual C++ redistributable packages, both x64 and x86 versions, directly from Microsoft's official website. A system restart is advisable after installation to ensure all components are properly registered. Disable HDR, High Dynamic Range. While HDR offers enhanced visual fidelity, it can sometimes introduce compatibility issues with specific monitor setups or graphics driver versions, leading to MSFS 2020 crashes. Temporarily disabling it can help isolate if it's the root cause of your launch problems. In your Windows display settings, navigate to HDR and toggle it off. Alternatively, if you can access the game settings, disable HDR there. Test the game's launch, and if it resolves the issue, you may need to update your monitor drivers or check for specific GPU driver updates addressing HDR compatibility. Check for competing background applications. Other resource-intensive applications running in the background can compete with MSFS 2020 for CPU, GPU, or RAM resources, potentially leading to instability or crashes on launch. Tools like video editors, other games, or complex web browsers can often be culprits. Open Task Manager, Control+Shift+Escape, and review the Processes tab for applications consuming significant resources. Close any non-essential programs before attempting to launch Microsoft Flight Simulator to minimize potential conflicts and resource starvation. Run a disk check. Check disk. Hard drive or SSD errors can corrupt game files or system files that MSFS 2020 relies upon, leading to unexplainable crashes or launch failures. A disk check can identify and repair these underlying sector or file system issues. Open Command Prompt as an administrator and type checkdisk/f/r, then press Enter. You may be prompted to schedule the check for the next restart. Allow the process to complete as it scans for and attempts to fix disk errors that could impact game stability. Perform a clean boot. A clean boot starts Windows with a minimal set of drivers and startup programs, helping to isolate software conflicts that might be preventing MSFS 2020 from launching. This diagnostic method effectively eliminates third-party interference. Type misconfig into the Windows search bar and open System Configuration. On the Services tab, check Hide All Microsoft Services, then click Disable All. On the Startup tab, open Task Manager and disable all startup items. Restart your PC, test MSFS, then re-enable services incrementally. Reinstall Microsoft Flight Simulator, last resort. If all other troubleshooting steps fail, a complete reinstallation of MSFS 2020 is often the most effective last resort. This ensures a clean slate, free from any lingering corrupted files or deep-seated configuration issues that might be causing persistent problems. Uninstall the game through Apps and Features, Microsoft Store, or Steam, ensuring all associated content is removed. Then, proceed with a fresh download and installation. Be prepared for a significant download size, but this step frequently resolves intractable issues. Monitor system temperatures. Overheating components, particularly the CPU and GPU, can cause system instability and lead to game crashes or shutdowns, especially under the heavy load of MSFS 2020. Thermal throttling, a protection mechanism, can also significantly reduce performance. Use monitoring software like HW Monitor or MSI Afterburner to keep an eye on your CPU and GPU temperatures while attempting to launch or play the game. If temperatures exceed safe operating limits, typically above 85-90°C, investigate cooling solutions or dust buildup in your system. Successfully resolving Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 launch and crashing issues often requires a systematic approach, starting with critical driver management. By diligently following these steps, you can diagnose and fix common problems, getting back to the skies with minimal frustration. Don't forget to follow TechnoBalta for more in-depth technical guides and solutions.